Bo Hargrove had never lost a fistfight, a cattle drive, or a poker hand in his life. But the day the town council cornered him in Dusty Ben's courthouse, the undefeated rancher finally felt trapped. His late father's ranch's legacy was hanging by a thread. Taxes had piled up, fences were broken, and bank notices stacked like vultures waiting for his downfall. So when Judge Albright cleared his throat and said, "Son, the only way to keep your land is to enter a binding union with a woman who can legally co-manage the property," Bo felt the walls closing in. He hadn't expected the town's solution to be marriage, and certainly not to her, Miss Loretta Wynn Dusty Ben's so-called old maid, a woman who'd watched 30 winters pass without a husband, a woman who preferred books to barn dances, and who carried herself with that strange mix of quiet grace and steel-spined independence that made folks whisper behind her back. Bo remembered her as the girl who used to sit alone under the willow tree reading poems, while other girls chased boys. She had grown into a woman with sharp wit, midnight dark hair, and a stare that could slice a man clean in half. Judge Albright explained that Loretta's family estate had surplus assets. She had volunteered to merge finances only if the marriage was official. Charity, she called it. A business agreement, she insisted. She claimed she had no interest in romance, only ensuring Dusty Ben didn't lose its largest ranch. Two greedy developers. When Bo was escorted into the parlor to meet her, he expected pity in her eyes. Instead, she looked him over like a rancher appraising a mule she wasn't sure she wanted. "I don't need a husband," she said coolly, "but I won't let your father's land fall into the hands of cowards who never worked a day on it. If we do this, we do it clean. No lies, no expectations, no affection." Bo bristled. "I'm not looking for a wife, darlin'. Just trying to save what's mine." They agreed to marry that evening. Dusty Ben buzzed like hornets round a caked nest. Folks whispered that Bo, the rugged heartbreaker, was being saddled with a woman who had waited too long. Others pitied Loretta for being tied to a man who treated love like a bet he refused to place. But beneath the whispers, something else stirred. Because when Bo offered her his arm at the altar, and she hesitated before finally taking it, the contact sent a spark neither expected. And as they walked out as husband and wife with the town watching, criticizing, expecting disaster, Bo felt something he never had before. A flicker of curiosity. A quiet pull toward the woman he'd sworn he'd never love. The forced marriage wasn't the trap he feared. It was the beginning, and it would change both their hearts forever. The first weeks of their marriage were a storm of mismatched tempers, slammed doors, and two stubborn souls pretending they didn't notice each other. Loretta moved into the ranch house with her trunk of books and her soft-spoken ways that somehow commanded more attention than Bo's booming voice ever did. She reorganized the dusty kitchen, added curtains that fluttered like shy whispers, and filled the silent rooms with the scent of lavender. Bo hated how much he didn't hate it. Every morning she sat on the porch with her tea and sunrise light across her hair, and Bo found himself lingering longer than he needed to when he walked by. But the shift didn't truly begin until the night of the wildfire. Flames cracked across the east fields, devouring brush and moving fast toward the herd. Bo saddled his horse without hesitation, but he didn't expect Loretta to follow him. Skirts bunched in her fists, eyes blazing brighter than the fire itself. "You're not going alone," she told him, tone firm as granite. "If your father could trust me with this ranch on paper, you can trust me with it in truth." They fought the fire side by side, sweat mixing with ash, breath burning, hands blistering. When a collapsing fence nearly trapped Bo, it was Loretta who grabbed his arm, yanked him back, and shielded him with her own body as embers rained around them. "You idiot," she shouted, voice breaking. "Don't you dare get yourself killed." It was the fear in her voice that shattered something inside him. When the fire was finally contained, Bo looked at her. The woman he thought was cold, distant, unfeeling, was fiercely loyal, devastatingly brave, and unexpectedly tender. That night, as they stood under the stars with smoke still rising from the field, Bo cupped her face gently. "Loretta Wynn Hargrove," he whispered, "I think my heart's been yours since the moment you stepped into my house." She trembled, conflict in her eyes. This wasn't supposed to be real, Bo. Only then did he smile, a slow, earnest, entirely unguarded smile. "It is to me." She didn't answer with words. Instead, she rested her forehead against his, the silent admission hitting him harder than any kiss. From that day on, love seeped into every corner of their strange, beautiful partnership. The ranch flourished. Loretta laughed more. Bo softened in ways he never imagined. The town that once mocked their marriage now whispered in awe, because she hadn't just saved his land, she had saved him. And the rancher who once believed he had no room for love discovered that the old maid was the only woman who could ever own his heart. The seasons rolled by on the Hargrove Ranch, but none more beautiful than the spring when everything land, love, and life seemed to bloom all at once. Bo no longer woke with the crushing weight of responsibility on his shoulders. Instead, he woke to the sound of Loretta humming in the kitchen, the smell of biscuits baking, and the feeling that his once empty home was finally alive. Loretta, for all her calm strength, found herself transformed too. Where she once kept her heart guarded behind polite smiles and bookish walls, she now felt it unfolding every day slowly, tenderly, irresistibly, as Bo showed her in quiet ways how deeply he cherished her. He fixed the squeaky floorboard she always tripped over. He planted her favorite lilacs near the porch. He even carved a small reading nook in the barn loft, where she could watch him work while she lost herself in her novels. "So you're close by," Bo had shrugged, pretending his ears weren't turning red. "In case one needs something, in case you get lonely," she corrected gently. He didn't deny it. But the true ending of their story began the day Bo's biggest fear returned: losing the ranch. A wealthy land developer arrived in Dusty Bend with slick promises and dangerous charm, offering to buy half the town and turn it into a resort. When he visited the Hargrove Ranch, Loretta met him at the gate before Bo could saddle his horse. "We're not selling," she told the man plainly. "This land isn't a commodity. It's a legacy." The developer smirked. "Everything has a price, Mrs. Hargrove." "Not this," she said, "and certainly not my husband's inheritance." Bo watched her from the porch, shoulders squared, voice unwavering, fiercely protective. Pride swelled inside him, warm and absolute. When the man left frustrated and empty-handed, Bo approached her and wrapped his arms around her waist from behind. "Do you know," he murmured against her hair, "you're the bravest woman I've ever met." "I learned from the stubbornest man alive," she teased. He chuckled softly, but then his voice lowered with the seriousness of a vow. "Loretta, I used to think I was fighting to save the ranch, but now I know I was meant to save it so it could bring you to me." Her breath caught as he turned her to face him. "And I'll spend every day proving that marrying you, being forced into it or not, was the greatest miracle of my life." Her eyes shone, warm as the sunrise she loved so much. "Then promise me something, Bo Hargrove, anything, that no matter what comes, we face it together." He lifted her hand to his lips, kissed her wedding band, and whispered, "Always, I'm yours, Loretta. Heart, land, and every sunset in between." And when she whispered, "I'm yours too," he pulled her into his arms, knowing the words completed the journey they never expected, but were always meant to take. From forced partners to lifelong soulmates, from reluctant vows to a love that rebuilt a legacy. Dusty Bend would talk about their beginning with gossip, but their ending was a legend. If you enjoyed this story and want more heart-grabbing tales like it, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Your support helps bring more powerful stories to life.